I never expected my life to change on the day I rode across the desert plains for the very first time. I had grown up near pastures and old cattle trails, but I had never truly ridden a horse the way real ranchers did. I had never pushed myself into the heart of a land where dust rose like spirits and the wind whispered secrets through the tall, dry grass. I always admired that world from a distance, never imagining I would one day become part of it. Never imagining I would meet someone like him. It all began the morning I arrived at the sprawling ranch tucked between red cliffs and endless hills. I had come looking for temporary work, hoping to save enough money to start fresh somewhere far away from the noise of my past. I carried nothing but a small bag, a fading photograph of the life I left behind, and a determination to survive. The ranch was the last place I ever expected to find purpose, peace, or anything resembling belonging. As I approached the wooden gate, I saw a man riding toward me. He sat tall on a chestnut horse, reins loose, posture relaxed, eyes sharp as if he could read everything about me with a single glance. He slowed the horse to a stop right in front of me. His hat cast a shadow over his face, but not enough to hide the rugged features carved by sun, wind, and responsibility. You must be the new hand, he said in a calm, steady voice. You're early. I liked that. I nodded, unsure if I should speak or stay silent. He seemed to sense my nervousness and his expression softened. Name's Cole. I run this ranch. Don't worry. Nobody here bites. Despite the dust and the heat, something about his presence felt grounding. Safe. I didn't know why. Maybe it was the way he looked at me directly, without judgment. Maybe it was the way he spoke, like he had already decided I belonged here. He motioned for me to follow him. As we walked through the ranch, I noticed how huge the place was. Barns stretched out like red giants, horses grazed in wide open paddocks, and cattle moved slowly across the pastures. Every worker looked busy, yet somehow calm, as if everything here moved according to a natural rhythm. You either understood or respected. Cole pointed out where the tools were kept, where the horses were fed, and where I'd be staying. The small cabin he gave me was worn but cozy, standing under an old cottonwood tree that rustled softly in the wind. When I turned to thank him, he paused and looked at me with an expression I didn't quite understand. If you're going to stay here, he said, you'll have to learn to ride properly. Really ride. We start tonight. Sunset. Don't be late. I wasn't sure if that was an invitation or an order, but I nodded anyway. As the sun dipped behind the cliffs, painting the sky orange and gold, I made my way to the main corral. Cole was already there, holding the reins of a horse that seemed far too big and far too spirited for a beginner like me. This is Arrow, he said. Gentle enough if you treat him right. Stubborn if you don't. Reminds me of someone. I wasn't sure if he meant himself or me. He helped me mount, guiding my hands, adjusting the stirrups, making sure I was comfortable. His touch was steady, patient, never lingering or inappropriate, just enough to make me feel secure. When Arrow shifted beneath me, I panicked for a moment, but Cole's hand on the reins calmed both of us. Relax, he murmured. The horse feels everything you feel. Trust him and he'll trust you. We rode under the twilight sky, the desert cooling around us, the stars slowly waking. I had never felt anything like it. I wasn't just sitting on a horse. I was moving with it, feeling the rhythm of its steps, listening to its breathing, letting the world around me fade into something peaceful and whole. Cole rode beside me the entire time, his presence steady like a lighthouse in the dark. You're doing good, he said after a while. Real good. You ride like someone who was meant for this life. I had never been praised that way before. Not with sincerity. Not with belief. My chest felt warm, my throat tight. I didn't know what to say. We returned to the ranch long after the stars claimed the sky. The workers had gone to sleep, barns were quiet, except for the soft shuffle of horses settling in for the night. Cole helped me dismount, his hands steady on my waist. For a moment, our eyes met in the moonlight. I felt something shift inside me, something I didn't understand yet, something he seemed to understand perfectly. Asterisk, you belong here, he said quietly. More than you think. Asterisk days turned into weeks. I worked harder than I ever had before, but for the first time, I didn't feel exhausted or lost. Every sunrise felt like a new beginning. Every ride felt like freedom, and Cole was always there. Sometimes he gave instructions, sometimes he silently watched, and sometimes he spoke to me about life, about the land, and about his dreams for the ranch. Asterisk, he wasn't like anyone I'd met before. He wasn't loud or demanding. He wasn't cold or distant either. He was strong because he had responsibilities, gentle because he understood people, and patient because he knew everything worthwhile took time. He treated me not as a worker, but as someone who mattered. Asterisk, one evening. After a long day of moving cattle across the southern pasture, a storm rolled in without warning. The wind howled, lightning cracked across the sky, and panic spread through the herd. Arrow became restless, and I struggled to control him as the cattle scattered. Asterisk, Cole galloped toward me, shouting over the chaos. Asterisk, stay close to me. Don't break away. Asterisk, I followed him through the blinding rain, trusting him completely, even when I could barely see. At one point, the ground shook from a lightning strike nearby. An arrow reared up. I nearly fell, but Cole was there in an instant. He grabbed my arm, pulled me close, and steadied both me and the horse. Asterisk, I've got you, he said, his voice fierce with determination. I won't let you fall. Asterisk, we managed to guide the herd back toward the sheltered canyon before the storm worsened. By the time we reached the ranch again, we were soaked, shivering, and exhausted, but we were safe. I had never felt so alive. Asterisk, inside the barn, under the dim lantern light. Cole brushed the rain from his hat and looked at me with an expression I couldn't decipher. Something between worry and admiration. Asterisk, you could have been hurt, he said. You scared me. I didn't know what came over me, but I stepped closer instead of pulling away. I trusted you, I whispered. That's why I didn't fall. Asterisk, something changed in that moment. Not spoken, not pushed, just understood. The air between us felt charged, like the storm hadn't fully passed. Asterisk, from that day on. Everyone at the ranch noticed how closely we worked together. We rode side by side. We fixed fences together. We shared quiet conversations under the shade of the cottonwood tree outside my cabin. People murmured, exchanged knowing glances, but no one said anything directly. Asterisk, weeks passed. My riding improved until I could gallop across the plains without fear. My confidence grew. My heart opened in ways I didn't expect or try to resist. Asterisk then. One evening, something happened that changed everything. Asterisk, Cole asked me to ride with him to the far ridge. He didn't say why. He simply saddled 2 horses and waited patiently. The sky was painted pink and lavender. The wind soft and warm. We rode in silence until we reached the top of the ridge, overlooking the entire ranch. From there, the land looked endless, wild, and breathtakingly beautiful. Asterisk, he dismounted and offered his hand to help me down. When I took it, he didn't let go. Asterisk, you've changed this place, he said quietly. You've changed me. You brought something here I didn't know I was missing. And I can't imagine this ranch without you anymore. Asterisk, my heart pounded. I couldn't speak. Asterisk, he took a breath, steadying himself like a man preparing for something important, something life-defining. Asterisk, I want you here, he continued. Not as a worker, not as someone passing through, as my partner, my equal, someone I can build a future with. I want to take care of you, and I want to fight beside you when things get hard. I want you to be my wife. If you'll have me. Asterisk. The wind fell silent. Even the horses seemed to hold their breath. Asterisk. I didn't answer right away. My mind raced through memories of the past I had run from. The pain, the disappointments, the moments when I felt invisible or unworthy. But then I looked at Cole, really looked at him. His sincerity, his steadiness, his kindness. He wasn't trying to own me. He wasn't trying to rescue me. He was offering a life built together, side by side. Asterisk. I stepped closer, feeling a calmness settle deep inside my chest. Asterisk, Cole, I whispered. Before I met you, I didn't know where I belonged. I didn't know what home felt like. But now, I do. And it's here. With you. Asterisk. His eyes softened, relief washing over his face like sunlight breaking through clouds. He pulled me gently into his arms, holding me like someone holding the most precious thing they'd ever found. Asterisk. From that night on, everything felt different. The ranch felt brighter. The world felt safer. I felt stronger, knowing I was building a future, not because I needed saving, but because I finally chose a place where I could grow. Asterisk. I learned to ride faster, push harder, work braver. Cole and I handled the ranch together, shoulder to shoulder. We laughed during long rides, supported each other during droughts and storms, and built a bond that only deepened with time. Asterisk. I had never ridden like that before. And I don't just mean the horse. I had never lived like this, never felt like this, never loved like this. And all of it began on the day the rancher looked at me, not as someone lost, but as someone worth holding on to.